Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Good day. Um, this is Murray Folio, and she's quite a character, but she's very good at what she does. You need to study and watch professional people and what they do. She's got a bar here, #1 bestseller. Get your free copy. It helps build her list. Facebook, I don't know what that is. Facebook Live, of course, there's Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. That's the area she's connected with. More videos down here. So very powerful. Let's listen to what she says about two-step process with goals.
Perfect to do anytime you have so many things on your plate that you feel like your beautiful head is going to explode. Now, I call this two-step process the purge and prune. Now, I know that kind of sounds like either the most horrible fat diet in the world or an equally horrible old-timey pub.
We serve two things here. Purge and prune. We're all out of prune. More prune here.
Seriously though, it is simple and it works. So I want you to grab a pen, get a notebook, and let's get cracking because step number 1 is called the purge. Now you might be asking yourself, what do I mean by this? I mean, get all of those incredible dreams and goals and to-dos out of your noggin and down onto the page. I want you to write down all the things that you want to accomplish, that you want to achieve, or the things that you want to experience over the next 12 months. Now, I know this may sound a little basic, but you would be surprised at how many people don't do this on a regular basis. And then they wind up complaining about feeling completely overwhelmed, so much so that they want to go into the corner and do the ugly cry. Now, when I do this kind of brain dump, I like to think about it in 3 spheres. The first sphere is yourself, meaning what are some of the specific things that you want to accomplish this year in terms of, let's say, your health and fitness or your self-care or your finances or things like your mindset, or maybe it's something that you want to learn or practice or any creative projects or giving back. Or maybe it's something about your home or where you live. I don't care, whatever it is, all I want you to do is think about how you want to grow yourself this year and write it down. Now, the second sphere is your relationships. So think about the most important people in your life. Who are they? Is it your spouse or maybe a significant other? Maybe if you have kids or parents or grandparents or nieces or nephews, or maybe it's your friends.
Now we're going to stop this for a second. I think you need to understand that she's very professional at what she does. Her ideas come from very well thought out, solution-based ideas. Now, writing it down, posting this out, telling it about to your spouse, significant other, or business partner, say, is this what we're going to do? It's not written down, but you're going to team up with someone, including your whoever that is, spouse, significant other, business partner, the team that you're working with. What system do you have in place? What partnership do you have in place? What relationships do you have in place? What system do you have in place? I know I repeated that. So system and partners do you have in place to get the job done? I don't know any corporation, any business that doesn't have a system or a routine that it doesn't work on daily to get things done. So if you don't have a routine and a system to get things done, are you just writing BS down? So you have to have a system and a routine in place and some type of accountability on a moment by moment, daily basis. Say, are you getting things done? And if you're not getting things done, you need to go to a program or a system or a routine that does get things done. So I have to be very realistic in my online businesses. I don't have a system or a routine that is really getting things done. And that is killing me emotionally, financially, and time-wise. I don't want to waste those anymore. So think about that when you think about these. And the simpler the system is, the more effective it is, the more accountability there is, the more results you're going to get. So complication online just screws everything up and it doesn't get things done.
Do you want to plan some fun visits or vacations or adventures with people that you love? What are some improvements that you want to make in your relationships that are going to require some time and some focus? Think about all that and write those down too. And then the third sphere is your business or career. So what are some of the major projects or goals that you want to work on this year in terms of your professional life? Maybe you want to launch a new product, or maybe you want to expand your team. I don't know, maybe you want to brush up on your resume or ask for a raise or write a book or just do more networking. Once again, think about all of this, write it down. One thing that's important, do not edit yourself and don't censor yourself. Don't stop and think, I don't know how I'm going to get this one done. All I want you to do is get everything out of your head and onto the page. I do this exercise often, and I have to tell you, it feels so good. You're going to get a massive surge in energy once you do this, and then you're going to be ready for step number 2. And step number 2 is the prune. Now, what do I mean by this? Anyone who's a gardener, the secret to keeping some of your plants really healthy and strong is sometimes you got to prune them, meaning you got to go in, you take your big old loppers and you just cut those branches back, and sometimes you do it severely. And I know that might sound a little bit scary. I mean, why would you want to lose all these nice, healthy branches on your plant? Well, because when you do, all of the plant's energy gets uber focused, and the plant grows back a lot healthier, a lot stronger, and more robust than it was before. The same thing's going to happen to you once you start going in and pruning back your list of what you want to work on over the next 12 months. Now, you might be saying, Marie, no, I do not want to lose anything off my list. I like all of my projects. I still want to do that and that and that. Don't make me lop it off, girl. Look, I understand. But here's the thing. Most ambitious, driven people take on way too much, and I bet you do this all the time. You might have your focus scattered, you're going to dilute your energy, and then you're going to wind up feeling overwhelmed and either quit or just spinning your wheels around and around.
Now, do you, and we're going to get back to this again and again this year. Now, do you have to come in on your focus and get it more razor and fine-tuned? But you have to have more reporting and returning on the focus. Are we really doing activities and routines and systems that are producing results? I've got to question myself in that area and focus, reestablish, and get into. Again, I know this sounds repetitive, but I got to get into routines and systems that produce results on a daily basis. And if it isn't producing results, I need to prune it, get rid of it, retweak it, refocus it, retool it, rework it until I get into a system that does produce results. Now, you hear all the hype out there, you hear all the marketing crap. You need to layer that back, peel that back, and really get into a routine and a system that produces results. So you do have to prune back what you're going to choose to work on, and you really need to work on something that gets results.
And never make any meaningful progress. That's why I'm suggesting that you take the opposite approach. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on the critical few things rather than the trivial many. Really focus down. What are the small number of projects that are going to give you the highest, most powerful and meaningful results in your life? So now, my friend, it is time for you to prune. I want you to take a look at your list and ask yourself, what do you really want your life to be about this year? How do you want to spend your time over these next 12 months? Who do you want to become? These are big, important questions. They're not necessarily that easy to answer, but it is vital that you do. Now, if you find yourself being torn up about what to prune and what not to prune, you can look at each item on your list through one of these 3 filters. So filter number 1 is ask yourself, what is the payoff for making this project happen? So what's the impact for reaching this goal? And how is that going to impact your life mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, or financially? Filter number 2, ask yourself, how will this project ultimately benefit others? What's the payoff for the other people in your life, the people that you love, whether that's your family or your team or even greater society? And then filter number 3, and I think this one is actually the most important filter: who will you have to become in order to make this goal or this project a reality? So in other words, what habits or skills or character traits will you need to develop in order to make this thing come to life? And big hint here, any project or goal that stretches you, that requires you to grow, is always going to be more rewarding than ones that don't. If you go through those filters and think, that's not really worth it, or you know what, that's not a big enough payoff for me right now, or you know what, I'm just not down for that kind of commitment, it is time to cut that branch. Don't judge yourself, just lop it off. Cross.
Now, again, this is probably the most important part of what Maria is saying. In my opinion, what's the payoff? Too many people, and I'm especially guilty of this, think short term. You don't think long term in the payoff. Uh, and when I say long term, I mean eternally. And when I say long term, I also mean uh, beyond this year. But don't forget about short-term results. So you got to balance the short-term results with a long-term vision. You need a balancing act there. Also about how's it going to benefit not yourself but others. And lastly, what character traits, skills, habits need to be changed to really get you where you need to be. Think about that.
That thing out. And I do want to say, crossing something out doesn't mean that you're never going to take that project on, just that you're not going to put pressure on yourself to work on that thing this year.
We're going to cut her off here. I don't have much time to listen to the rest of this. We will give you the source for this and in this video, and she's a great resource. Again, another thing that we often do is we take too much upon ourselves and we don't become very resourceful. This should be a team effort as well as an individual effort in several areas, and you need to become resourceful in involving the team as well as yourself in getting the synergy you need. So I need to ask for more help, and I need to be more helpful as far as getting results, using an effective system, building a team, building that synergy and those relationships. So this is essential thinking and work, and it goes beyond just income. It goes beyond just relationships. To me, it goes into covenants, and it goes into eternal benefits and blessings beyond this life that not only help us here, but will help us after we are so-called deceased. We never really become deceased. We just transfer to one state to another and go on to our divine nature and end. And so these things need to be looked at on a covenant basis and on an eternal basis and on a relationship base, not only with yourself and God, but with others in that covenant circle. So, and that means family, that means friends, that means individuals that are also into that same covenant and eternal relationship. So, the eternal relationship is rarely, if ever, talked about in a business realm. That needs to stop. So, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Do what you can for Marie, adapt it to your own situation, and go on. This is 2020. We're starting a new year. We're also starting a new life, if you understand it. And we're also hoping to deepen your eternal covenants and relationships as you work through that. There's no other better way to say it. We're going to get into more detail on this. And we're going to get into more detail using our resources, our time, our money, our investments, and our covenants. This is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day, Happy New Year, and best of success and improvement this year on both financial, spiritual, and eternal relationships, as well as family and church relationships, as well as business, as well as spiritual. Too often we do not tap into the eternal, and we are totally into our own self and our own situation, and we are missing out on key eternal blessings and relationships and covenants, which we should be more fully focused and involved in. So I'm asking your help to help me repent for Latter-day Saints and do more temple work, do more genealogy, and do more missionary work, and do more relationship building, both in the home and in the family. Because these are really the eternal covenants and powers that have eternal blessings and benefits that hardly no one outside the church talks about. And we need to bring these things outside the homes. We need to have the foundation of the home and the foundation of the church. And we need to bring it outside. It needs to go to corporations. It needs to go to church. It needs to go to governments. It needs to go to school. It needs to be part of our everyday routine and life situation in a more open and powerful way. Christ is going to bring this out in the forefront when it comes, both politically, both religiously, and otherwise. Why not start now, prepare for that? Because it is going to happen. Are you going to be ahead of the curve, behind the curve, or even off the page? It's Roger Mark from Billings, Montana. Again, good day, Happy New Year, and keep your eye on the eternal as well as the current situation going on. Good day.